between love and blood. When Jeeny married Henry, she believed love would conquer all. She thought his family would eventually accept her, that time and kindness would soften their hearts. But from the very beginning, she was wrong. Henry's mother, Evelyn, was the first to make her disapproval known. She didn't shout, didn't argue, she simply made it clear that Jeeny didn't belong. Claire, his sister, followed suit, treating Jeeny like an intruder rather than family. Even his father, always quiet, barely acknowledged her presence. The reason? They believed she wasn't good enough. Jeeny had grown up in a simple home, at least by appearance. Her family lived modestly, wore no flashy clothes, and didn't parade their wealth. From the outside, it was easy to mistake them for an average middle-class family. And Evelyn, who had high expectations for her son's future wife, took one look at Jeeny's humble lifestyle and decided she was beneath them. "A woman from a poor family will only drag you down, Henry," Evelyn had once whispered to him when she thought Jeeny wasn't listening. "She won't understand our way of life. She embarrass you." It hurt, but Jeeny never corrected her. She didn't see the point. She had no interest in proving herself to people who had already decided to hate her. For months, she endured it all. The cold stares, the snide remarks about her cheap outfits, which in reality were tailored pieces chosen for comfort rather than brand names. The dismissive way they spoke to her, as if she were an inconvenience rather than Henry's wife. Henry, to his credit, never wavered. He defended her, refused to let their words go unchallenged, and made it clear that Jeeny was his priority. But the tension only grew, and one night, it finally reached its breaking point. After another strained family dinner, Evelyn pulled Henry aside, her voice filled with barely contained frustration. "She's ruining our family, Henry. You have to choose us or her." Jeeny, who had been about to leave the dining room, froze in place. For the first time, Henry didn't hesitate. His voice was steady, unwavering. "I already chose her, Mom. The day I married Jeeny, I promised to stand by her side. I love you, but I won't let you tear my wife down." Silence fell over the house. Evelyn's face paled, Claire's eyes widened in disbelief, and even Henry's father, usually indifferent, looked up in shock. And then, as if fate had planned it, the truth came out. A few days later, at a charity gala, Evelyn and Claire overheard whispers about Jeeny's family name. It was a name spoken with deep respect, a name tied to generations of wealth and influence. Oh, the Lancaster family. Old money, generational wealth. They own half the city. Evelyn's blood ran cold. Claire clutched her mother's arm, her voice barely a whisper. "That's Jeeny's last name." The realization crashed down on them like a tidal wave. The woman they had scorned, humiliated, and belittled wasn't just acceptable by their standards, she was beyond them. And yet, despite her wealth, she had lived simply, humbly, never once feeling the need to prove her worth to them. Regret sank in. They had pushed away a woman who had everything they valued: money, power, and status, because they had been blinded by their own arrogance. The next time Evelyn saw Jeeny, her demeanor had changed. The coldness was gone, replaced with an awkward, forced warmth. But Jeeny, ever graceful, met her with the same quiet kindness she had always given. Later that night, Henry pulled Jeeny close and kissed her forehead. "They finally see your worth," he murmured. Jeeny smiled softly. "No, Henry, they see my wealth, but I only ever wanted them to see me." Henry sighed, resting his forehead against hers. "I saw you, and I chose you. That's all that matters." And in the end, it was.